Abuja Justice Zemenyo ni vetting process in the course na vetting process na them Afenyo or be some questions be pre said they be as usual but Dafeamakpor Rockson majority chief whip. And I say or silence Afenyo markings say or kasa be brave, but what teams Afenyo markings emotionally wired down, emotionally down. And I will catch a year speaker say the chairman, the presiding chairman, a year for say on Cassandra a year Dafeamakpor no interject no. Another Dafeamakpor say you cannot silence him because on also Casa no interjecting Dafeamakpor I crash with Afenyo markings and Afenyo markings like the both was one person protest beer, but said a bear said he see baby tremor in crash no and semi cause where during the vetting of a Supreme Court justice.
Man, I want to register a protest on record. I know that you are not sharing your power. I would plead through you to my respected colleague seated immediately to your right. The interjections, though not on record, those interjections are becoming too loud and too many. And we've started well. The man seated there, I've appeared before him, and he knows me very well, and I know him very well. We are discharging a constitutional duty. If it were to be on personal level, I say, my Lord Jamefe, please, I've passed you. We are doing a constitutional exercise, and we have political views on certain matters. You've had your turn. This thing that we do, then it get out of hand, the public misconstrue us. I don't want it to happen. Please restrain him. Please restrain him. It must not continue.
All other members are accordingly restrained. The floor is given to the minority leader and the ranking member of the committee. So
you must add or sign him to be say that.
No, this attempt to run me under the bus, I won't accept it. Were you not interjecting? Were you not? Did anybody protest? Please.
You have the floor. You have the floor. Please continue with your question.
You can't run me down.
Is that in the absence of all these three, so for instance, recently, Mr. President was out of the jurisdiction on an ECOWAS assignment, is whether in the situation like what I've mentioned, the Chief Justice would have to act or take the presidential oath as acting president. That's the point he wanted to put across.
Mr. Chairman, this
Chief Justice or acting Chief Justice or the head of the judiciary.
This is peculiar.
Yeah.
Like you rightly said, if the president is not there, the vice will take the oath. If it's not there, then the speaker, and then it goes down to the Chief Justice. But unfortunately, during that period, there wasn't a substantive Chief Justice, but we have an acting Chief Justice. I don't think the law says that the acting Chief Justice should take an oath. Thank you.
So your answer will be different if there is a substantive Chief Justice.
Yes, my Lord.
And your view is that in that instance, the Chief Justice will have to take the presidential oath as acting president, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, your last question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. My Lord, respectfully, government recently has engaged in a deportation policy of foreigners who have been found to be illegally mining. And my question to you is that, does this violate Article 17 of the Equality Before the Law? And can citizenship status justify different legal treatment for identical criminal conduct?
Mr. Chairman, crime is a crime. Crime doesn't know who commits it. Once you've committed a crime, you must go as to what the law says. So if the law says that a foreigner has committed a crime and after conviction and sentence, they are to be deported, why not? Thank you.
Yes, a follow-up. But in these instances, there's no conviction and sentencing. But the fact that they have been arrested for having conducted themselves in that manner, they are deported. Would you suggest some recommendations?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I cannot tell what decision informed that, what reason informed that decision. So I'm not in the position now to say why they were deported. I think it was an executive or decision, so I cannot say why. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my lord. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Bahama Ayariga, the leader of government business.
My Lord, the nominee, Justice Afenyo, congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
You've been around for a while. I remember recently, and even this morning, the arguments about the proper size of our Supreme Court, how many judges we should have appointed as Supreme Court judges, has been a raging political, legal issue. And even this morning, when you sat there, you were greeted with a statement by the minority leader on that matter. Let me ask, as a member of parliament representing a constituency at the furthest end of the country, that is Boku Central, and an individual seeking justice is entitled to litigate his case up to the Supreme Court by way of right to appeal up to the Supreme Court, depending on where he started the matter. Do you think it is fair that if I'm a citizen of Boku and I start my matter either in Boku or at the High Court in Bolga, I must always travel all the way to Accra to have access to justice at the Supreme Court? Have you thought about the need for a northern bench? Just as you now have a Court of Appeal in Kumasi, and I think you had even started a Court of Appeal in Tamale. I think it went on for a while. And Cape Coast. Have you thought about the need for a northern bench of the Supreme Court so that the people of the North do not always have to travel to Accra when they seek justice in the Supreme Court?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have only one Supreme Court in Ghana, and that court can have several branches, but it's the same Supreme Court, just as the Court of Appeal and the High Courts. So I don't see anything wrong if there's a branch there.
So, to really be fair, maybe we should consider having a branch up north of the same court. Now, you are not opposed to a policy like that, even though you are not in a position to take that decision, but you are not opposed to a policy like that. That's what I gather from your response. As at now, what is the size in terms of the number of the judges in the Supreme Court. Do you recall? I won't hold you to it, but do you recall how many we have now? If you take out the 7 nominees that we have before us.
13, I guess, 13.
You have 13. In 2024, the Chief Justice wrote a letter to the President recommending that the average size of the court should be 20. The letter was made public, I think, by Asase Radio, so I'm sure a lot of people had the opportunity to see the letter. Asase Radio made the letter public. I have the report here, media report, in which Asase Radio has shared details of the letter requesting the appointment of the 5 judges. And then the letter included a detailed analysis justifying the need for these appointments. So beyond my argument about a northern bench of the court so that people in the north can have access to justice, the letter that the Chief Justice wrote compared Ghana to the U.S. I don't know if you saw the letter or at least read the media reportage and discussion of the letter. Because I want to take you through the details. I don't know if you saw the letter or you read the media reports. Just let me know that so that I can know what information to put out when doing the analysis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I haven't cited the letter, but I heard a bit of it on social media.
Well, yeah, the Chief Justice argued, and I don't know if you agree with this argument. I'll just 3 arguments, and then I would end it there. One, Chief Justice says that there are delays in the administration of justice. Supreme Court judges are overburdened, and, you know, they have to write opinions, they have to hold conferences, and if you have less than 20 judges, it definitely affects the administration of justice at the level of the Supreme Court. Do you agree with that?
Mr. Chairman, I haven't cited the letter you are referring to, and I don't know the reasons given, but from what I heard from you, delays and that the judges are overburdened because of the caseload. The framers of our law, the Constitution, know why they haven't put a limit onto the number of Supreme Court judges. It's not capped. I keep saying that the law is always evolving. Maybe there's a reason. So far as the Constitution doesn't cap the number of judges, I am for it. Thank you.
The second argument that the Chief Justice makes is that we tend to compare ourselves with the U.S. And say the U.S. has a Supreme Court and they have only 9 judges. But the Chief Justice in the letter indicated that in actual fact, in the U.S., they have 50 Supreme Courts in the states, plus the 1 federal Supreme Court. And so you can't compare the Ghanaian situation where we have 1 Supreme Court versus the U.S. that has 50 Supreme Courts at the federal state, at the state level, joining the federal Supreme Court. Do you subscribe to that argument of the Chief Justice?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. See, in the states, every state has its Supreme Court. That is the state Supreme Courts. And then
there are 50 of them.
Yes, and then the Central Federal Court. And even on that, it's only constitutional and federal issues that go to the Federal Supreme Court. And then on top of that, they have the discretion to choose. Unlike here, they have the discretion to say that it's only on 6 cases we sit in the year. So they are not overburdened like we have here. So if the argument of in that letter you says that due to delays and the caseload, number of judges be increased, fine, I support it. But I guess that the flexibility is there for the evolving nature of the system, which there must be justification for every additional judge. Thank you.
Yeah, the CJ, in making a case for a minimum of 20 judges at the Supreme Court, indicated, for instance, and gave statistics that in 2008 and 2019, in the U.S., the federal Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, the cases filed numbered 6,442. 6,442. But that year, the cases that were argued, out of the 6,442, the cases that were argued were 73 only. And indeed, the cases that were disposed were 69. So you have 6,442, and then you could only, they only disposed of 73, because they, like you said, they have a right to choose what cases to hear and what cases not to hear. But our Supreme Court, disposes, on the average, disposes of about 400 cases in a year, given, the pressure on them and in spite of their numbers. Would you say that in spite of the challenges, our judges really do well?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I will say that they do very well. Our Supreme Court here has 3 main jurisdictions: original, appellate, and supervisory. And even chieftains' cases from the National House of Chiefs Appeals go to them. It's loaded, and it's virtually becoming a daily court. So I buy the argument that they are overloaded, and therefore there is a need to increase the numbers.
So in general, you agree with the argument that indeed we need to have more Supreme Court judges so that we can have cases expedited and people's right to have access to the Supreme Court vindicated.
Mr. Chairman, yes, I agree.
The last one, which is generally about the rule of law, You know that investor confidence is also moved by the extent to which a country